जी चाहता है गुजराती में बात
करें आप, हम तो गुजरातियों से मानूस हैं।
My mother tongue is Gujarati. I've never done a bayan in Gujarati. मैंने कोई बयान नहीं किया गुजराती। थोड़ा मुश्किल होता है। The ayats I recited from the Quran, people might think, what has this to do with nikah? So I didn't have no intention. But when I stood in Maghrib, Allah put it in my heart to recite from here. Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu jahidil kuffar. This ayat is twice in the Quran. Once it comes in Surah Tawbah, and once it comes in Surah Tahrim. In Surah Tawbah, it is related to Surah Tawbah is about the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why in the whole Quran, every surah we read Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. But in Surah Tawbah we don't read Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. There are given different reasons. But the main is that the first ayat in Surah Tawbah, Allah declares war. براءة من الله ورسوله إلى الذين عاهدتم من المشركين. Allah declares war. And here in this Surah Tahrim, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was just not a Nabi. He was just not a Nabi. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was Kamil and Mukammal. Kamil means that he was complete. Mukammal, Allah had made him complete. Isa alayhi salam, all due respect, La nufarriqu bayna ahadin min rusuli. We don't differentiate between the prophets about their prophethood. But Isa alayhi salam is one of the most followed prophets in the world. The Christians all they revere him, but not as much as we do, but they do revere him. So once a Christian said that this is what he said, not say this is what we believe, this is what he said, that Isa Islam is complete because he didn't get married. Isa Islam didn't have the opportunity at that time when he was here to get married. And your Nabi married many women. Our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam first married Sayyidina Khadija radiyallahu ta'ala. Then after her passing away, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam married Mrs. Sauda bint Zam'a, al-Mu'mineen. One was a widow. Sauda bint Zam'a was a widow. And he married Sayyidina Aisha. Sayyidina Aisha was a virgin. And then Rasulullah all other marriages are either to widows, all of them were widows. Salma radiallahu anha, her husband Abu Salma radiallahu anhu was shaheed. All the other wives of Rasulullah, Hazrat Hafsa bint Umar, al-Mu'mineen, her husband died in the Battle of Badr. So all of them were widows. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make his Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam marry widows? Hazrat Khadija was a widow also. Hazrat Khadija radiallahu ta'ala was a widow also. So Hazrat Khadija radiallahu ta'ala was before Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. She had one husband who died and the second husband who died. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was her husband. She had children from before. She had children from before. In the books of Ahadith, especially Tirmidhi, Imam Tirmidhi rahmatullah alayhi in his book Shama'il, where the description of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has been given, was given by Hazrat Hussain and Hazrat Hassan radiallahu grandsons of Rasulullah. But they took that description from Hind. Hind was their Mamu. He was their maternal uncle. He was the son of Sayyidina Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha from a previous marriage. And وَكَانَ وَصَّافًا لِرَسُولِ اللَّهِ. He used to describe Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam greatly. His description of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is a he. It's a he. So he describes Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And this is one of the stepchildren of Rasulullah. This is one of the stepchildren of Rasulullah. So he describes Prophet Prophet's features. Thus Aisha describes it in one share in Arabic. If you were to understand the share, you would all start dancing. अभी आती नहीं तो क्या करें? अभी आती नहीं तो क्या करें? वो माना तो आती है. She says that when Yusuf alayhi salam was sold in the bazaar of Misr, and when the Aziz Misr, the minister of Misr, he purchased him, and he told his wife Zulaykha that we make him our son. And when Zulaykha had ill feelings towards Yusuf alayhi salam, and it became famous in the town, Allah mentions this in Surah Yusuf, وَقَالَ نِسْوَةٌ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ امْرَأَةُ الْعَزِيزِ تُرَاوِدُ فَتَاهَا عَنْ نَفْسِهِ قَدْ شَغَفَهَا حُبًّا إِنَّا لَنَرَاهُ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. That the women of that town, of Qahira, if it was Qahira, or Luxor, wherever they used to be, وَقَالَ نِسْوَةٌ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ امْرَأَةُ الْعَزِيزِ تُرَاوِدُ فَتَاهَا عَنْ نَفْسِهِ. That she has been mesmerized by this ghulam of hers, this young, her slave. We think that she is in open error. So Zulaykha was not a bad woman. She was not a woman of ill repute. But seeing Yusuf alayhi salam, she fell in love. Seeing Yusuf alayhi salam, she fell in love. Generally, men fall in love with women. Very rare a woman falls in love with a man. Very rare. But when she saw Yusuf alayhi salam, she could not hold back her love for him. Love is of different types. In the English language, love, one is the love of one's parents. That's a different type of love. One is the love for one's children. That's a different type of love. One is the love for one's spouse. That's a different type of love. It's not all one. So the English language doesn't broaden it. Generally, when they talk about love, they talk about lust. They talk about lust. But when Zulaykha saw Yusuf alayhi salam, when Yusuf alayhi salam was a child, his aunt, his paternal aunt, she took him from Yaqub alayhi salam. So Yusuf alayhi salam was such a beautiful baby, beautiful boy, that when Yaqub alayhi salam wanted him back, she didn't want to give him back. So she did a trick which was jaiz in Bani Israel. That she accused him, Yusuf alayhi salam, of stealing something, which is mentioned in the Quran. فلما استيئسوا منه خلصوا نجيا قال كبيرهم ألم تعلموا أن أباكم قد أخذ عليكم. From there Allah mentions it. And they said that if he stole, and Binyamin stole, then Yusuf stole before him. So they were referring to that waqi. Mufassirin have written. Because the aunt could not bear to lose Yusuf. Similarly, Similarly, Yaqub alayhi salam, when Yusuf alayhi salam was a child, obviously he was his favorite. And when Yaqub alayhi salam heard that Yusuf alayhi salam had a dream, it's in the first few ayats of Surah Yusuf, إني رأيت أحد عشر كوكبا والشمس والقمر رأيتهم لي ساجدين. And I saw 12 stars. إني رأيت أحد عشر كوكبا, I saw 11 stars. والشمس والقمر, and I saw the sun and the moon. They were all doing sajda. So Yusuf alayhi salam was a child when he saw this. So he mentioned it to his father. So his father said, لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك فيكيدوا لك كيدا. Don't tell your brothers. Sometimes when we see a dream, we should not go and tell everybody or anybody. Dreams have meanings. If somebody dreams in the night that he saw Jannah, most probably he will. But if somebody dreams that he became king, then don't believe that. Because he slept thinking I will get a lot of money. Imam Bukhari rahmatullah in Bukhari Sharif, he has put a whole Babu Ru'ya, Kitabu Ru'ya. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, the 44th part of Nubuwwah is Ru'ya. Is this much the Ummah still has. Some people in this Ummah have dreams. And they are pious people. Oh, मेरा और तुम्हारा काम नहीं, तो अल्लाह वाला. Not mine and your dream. Dream of Ahlullah. So Yusuf alayhi salam saw that dream and Yaqub alayhi salam told him, don't tell your brothers. Because Yaqub alayhi salam understood the dream. Yusuf alayhi salam didn't understand the dream. At that time, he was a child, he didn't understand what this meant. That's why his father said, لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك فيكيدوا لك كيدا إن الشيطان للإنسان عدو. Don't tell your brothers, because they will plan, and Shaitan will come in, and he's your open enemy. So sometimes we don't realize that we let out certain secrets which could harm us. Even those who live around us, those who are close to us, unknowingly they can harm us. I'll give you an example of this. Many years ago, when I used to live in England, one of my musallis, he came to see me in the masjid. So he said to me, he said, well, I have a nephew. He's 6 months old, 4 months old. He stopped drinking milk completely. He's not taking no milk. So, can you do some talis? So I said, before you do any talis, you take him to the doctor, the pediatrician. He said, yes, we took him to the pediatrician. I said, what did the pediatrician say? He said, there's nothing wrong with him. They checked him and they said, nothing wrong with him. But he couldn't figure out why he was not drinking milk. So I said, I think that the nazar of your sister, his mother, has come upon. This is something to understand. Al-ayn haqqun in this instance. That the evil eye, sometimes even the good eye, evil eye means that somebody looks at something and he or she has inside one hasad and jealousy. This could happen. In hadith it comes, Al-ayn yanzil al-jamal fi that the eye can take a camel into the cooking pot. And if somebody has a nice animal and somebody dislikes it for that person, the animal might become sick and so on, and it will eventually end up as food. And yanzil mar'a fil qabr. And sometimes evil eye takes a person into his grave. So I was he said, what shall we do? He said, does the child only drink the mother's milk? The child only drink mother's milk. Or does the child also drink bottled milk? Akbar Ilahabadi is a child. दूध डिब्बे का तालीम सरकार की, दूध डिब्बे का तालीम सरकार की, फिर क्या हमसे उम्मीद के करे खिदमत दीन की, जो समझा समझा नहीं समझा। So in these countries in the West, up to India maybe, Pakistan maybe, people, mothers don't want to give their milk. They want to give powdered milk. But it's another issue altogether. And the mother's milk, how nourishing it is for the baby, the boy or the girl, the mother's child. But that's another issue. Some of the sisters will get upset. So I will not go into it. So this child, he said he didn't smoke. So I said, bring the bottle. So he brought the bottle. I took the bottle in my hand and I said, Chalo beta, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I said Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and nothing else. No taweez, nothing. I just said Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and the child drank all the milk. मैं तो बहुत बड़ा बाबू बन गया. They thought I was a big babu. So the father, he came with an envelope. In England, the highest note is a 50 pound. You see, the British pound is a Jeep. The 5 pound is smaller, then the 10 pound is larger than that, and the 50 pound is larger than that. I think there's a 20 pound note also. So you know the feeling of the money. Here in America, $100, $1, $2, everything is the same. It's a barakat bhi. So, when he took the money, I assumed that it was about 2,000-3,000 pounds. That's a lot of money. So he said, "ये आपके लिए." So I said, "भाई मैं इसके लिए तो आया नहीं था, नहीं करते." No, आपको. I said, "No." So I had a friend with me. So he was insisting, and I was telling him that, "Brother, I will come to this." You asked me, and I said, "Al-ainu haqqun." Nabi Sallallahu said that. So all I did was the amal of Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. That's why some people say, some ulama say, that Ismul A'adam is Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ismul A'adam is Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. वो लोग पूछते हैं कि इसमें आज़म क्या है, इसमें आज़म क्या है? इसमें आज़म बिस्मिल्लाह है. We don't do qadr of Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We don't do qadr. So when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam went to Hudaybiyah and they were writing the pact, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told Hazrat Ali, write Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So when Hazrat Ali was writing Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Suhail bin Amr, who was not a Muslim then, he was one of the kuffar, he said, we don't want Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We don't know who is Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. We know Allah. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, yani erase it and write Bismihi Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And Hazrat Ali wrote Muhammad Rasulullah. He said, if we knew he was Rasulullah, we would never argue. Write Muhammad bin Abdullah. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, write Muhammad bin Abdullah. The only time Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam wrote in his whole lifetime was when he was in Surah Hudaybiyah. Hazrat Ali said, I will not erase it. Rasulullah said, give me the pen. He erased it and he wrote Muhammad bin Abdullah. Ulama have written this. That's the only time Rasulullah didn't know how to read and write. For Rasulullah that was fadl, that was honor. If you and I don't know how to read and write, this is jahalat also. So, as I was saying, that when Yusuf al-Islam was sold and he saw the dream, and this child that I was talking about, I didn't take the money, so my friend was with me. So when the brother insisted, so I said to him, "Chalo, बहुत तुम्हें वो है दूध पिला दो, एक एक ग्लास उनको दूध पिला दो. They brought milk. When we left, my friend said, ऐसा मौलवी है, इतने पैसे मिल रहे थे नहीं लिए, और फिर दूध का ग्लास मांगा और देखिए. I said, I know this person. I know that if he gave us this money for 3 months, he would not be able to pay his bills. So why do zulm upon him? मालदार लोग नहीं दिया करते, वो गरीबी देता है. हाँ, मौलवियों को कोई देता है तो गरीबी देता है, मालदार नहीं देते, वो पीते रहते हैं. Al-ghina ghina al-qalb. The richness is the richness of the heart, not the richness of the bank account. So I was saying that Yusuf alayhi salam's qissa, I wrote it. What for? Does anybody remember what for? मैं मुदर्रिस हूँ, मुझे मुदर्रिस की बात करता हूँ. What did I start from? किसी को कुछ पता नहीं है? जुलेखा किस्सा तो वैसे ही अंदर आ गया. निकाह से मैंने शुरू किया. the ayah कि नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम वो कुफार the Christians say that your Nabi married so many women from there I started. So the answer to them is that Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam as Nabi is kamil, but he is not mukammal. There is a difference to understand. Because Isa alayhi salam, he will be marrying when he comes from the heavens. بل رفعه الله إليه. وإن من أهل الكتاب إلا ليؤمنن به قبل موته. There is a time when Isa alayhi salam will come, and he will live amongst the people, and he will marry, and he will have children also. But this is the qudrat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Generally a person gets married, they have children and so on. But Isa alayhi salam has this one. Bharat, Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, married 11 women. At one time there were 11 women in his age. But that's not jais for you and I to have 11. We can have 4. Women have some, they're okay, including me. अभी परेशान हो रहे हैं, मेरे दामाद होने वाले दामाद भी परेशान हो रही है, कैसा मौलवी है, कैसा सुसर मिला.
यूज़ टू हो जाएगा, आदत पड़ जाएगी.
तो हाँ, लेकिन नबी की बात है, नबी की बात सबसे ऊपर होती है. नबी की बात सबसे ऊपर होती है. So Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, I was talking about that when the women of Yusuf alayhi salam, those women who came to the tea party and they cut their hand, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this in the Quran. So when they cut their hand, they saw the beauty of Yusuf alayhi salam. So they were amazed and dazzled by the beauty of Yusuf alayhi salam. Yusuf alayhi salam's beauty was amazing. भाई अगर आप लोगों को रैंक करना है तो आप आ जाओ, या फिर मुझे रैंक करने दो.
आज नहीं, कल करें.
So when they saw Yusuf alayhi salam, they were dazzled by his beauty. So Aisha said that لواحي زليقة لو رأيت جبينه. माना क्या बोले, क्या जबरदस्त शेर. लवाही ज़लीक़ा लौ रअयना जबीनहु लआथरना अला क़त्लिल क़ुलूबि अला यदी. इसका तर्जुमा मैं कैसे करूँ? ये रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की शान में आपकी ज़ौजाए मोहतरमा, आपकी लाडली ज़ौजा हज़रत आयशा कहती है, in the honor of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sayyidina Aisha says لواتي زليخا لونين جبينه. If the women of Zulaikha, if they saw my Yusuf, Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لواتي زليخا لونين جبينه, if they saw his forehead, they would have, instead of cutting their hands, they would cut their hearts. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's beauty was like the beauty of the moon. But we don't see the moon. We have कुछ कौन सी तारीख है तो बहुत सालों को पता ही नहीं होगा.
शब मेराज की रात.
लेकिन चांद की कौन सी तारीख है?
26.
चांद की 27वीं है. तो हम तो देखते ही नहीं हैं चांद को. तो हमें क्या पता खूबसूरती क्या होती है? वो हज़रत आयशा रज़ियल्लाहु ताला अन्हा says, if they saw my Yusuf, they would have cut their hearts. So Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with all his beauty, with all everything, only one wife Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam married, who was not married before. All of the other women were either widows. Hazrat Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha, once Hazrat Aisha says, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was praising her and talking about her, and I said, we are your young wives, we are beautiful women, and we talk about an elderly woman. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, oh Aisha, if you were to say this and spat in the ocean will become even more. All my children are from Sayyidina Aisha. Hazrat sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all his children except Ibrahim radiallahu anhu are from Sayyidina Aisha, from Sayyidina Khadija. So my dear brothers, it's easy to say and it's easy to feel, but the nikah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to his wives was very simple, very fruitful. All of the Islam's nikah are very fruitful. In the Quran, I started from the ayat, the verse, يا أيها النبي جاهد الكفار والمنافقين واغلظ عليهم ومأواهم جهنم وبئس المصير. Today we want to follow. We say that we love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which we do. Every moment has the love of Rasulullah. Every Muslim has the love of Rasulullah. But we don't want to do our weddings according to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We don't want to do our ajeeb baat ho gayi. Recently, somebody sent me a video in one Muslim country. They were taking a janaza. Rona aa gaya. In the janaza, they were doing dhol. In the janaza, they were doing dhol. They were beating drums or naach rahe the. And these were Muslims. I'm not talking about non-Muslims. So, when people come to this point, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in this ayat, the next ayat, ضرب الله مثلا للذين كفروا امرأة نوح وامرأة لوط. There were two women of two Nabis of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They lived with the Nabi. They gave children to the Nabi. They lived in the presence of the Nabi. They lived with the Nabi. Their sorrow, their grief, their happiness was with the Nabi. But they didn't believe in Allah. They didn't believe in Allah. ضرب الله مثلا الذين كفروا امرأة نوح وامرأة لوط كانتا تحت عبدين من عبادنا. Allah said they were underneath our two Abid people. Nabi, there is nobody who can be above a Nabi. Nuh alayhi salam's wife and Lut alayhi salam's wife. Both went to Jahannam. Both. Even though they lived and grew up in the presence of the Nabi. Because they loved the Nabi, but they did not love the Nabi for his nubuwwah. They loved him just physically. They loved, in the beginning I said, love is of different types. One is the love of your children. One is the love of your parents. One is the love of your siblings. One is the love of your spouse. Every love has a different temperament, different sequence. Allah mentions about them. فَخَانَتَهُمَا means that they were dishonest, not dishonest in their dignity. A Nabi's wife is never a woman of ill repute. Even though they were kafir, they were not of ill repute. Both the women were kafir, but they were not of ill repute. That's why some people come and ask that why we should marry Ahl Kitab. Some people, not everybody, some people come and ask this question. So you are allowed to marry Ahl Kitab, but they have to be Ahl Kitab, number one. They have to believe in Judaism or Christianity in whatever way. But there are so many Muslim women, why can't you marry them? People want to marry Ahl Kitab, give dawah to them. But it's not for dawah, it's for something else. So, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he mentioned that Allah Ta'ala mentions in the Quran. And there is one woman Allah mentions in the Quran who was under a tyrant, one of the greatest kafir on the planet Earth. It's Pharaoh. He was the Pharaoh. And Allah mentions her, and Allah honors her. In the day of judgment, whoever will read Quran and whoever will read Surah, which Surah is it? How is it? Surah Tahrim. Which Surah is it? Surah Tahrim. Surah Tahrim, the ayat starts with Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu lima tuharrimu ma ahalla Allah laka tabtaghi mardat azwajik. That, O Nabi, why do you make haram upon yourself that which your women want? لِمَا تُحَرِّمُ مَا أَحَلَّ اللَّهُ لَكَ. That Allah made haram for you, and because of your women, you made it haram upon you. The qissa behind this is that once, Rasulullah had several wives, 9 to be precise. So there were 2 groups in the wives. One group was with Sayyidina Aisha. One group was with Sayyidina Zainab bint Jahsh radiyallahu ta'ala, al-Mu'minin. Allah has mentioned her nikah in the Quran. Allah has mentioned her nikah in the Quran. فَلَمَّا قَضَى زَيْدٌ مِنْهَا وَطَرًا زَوَّجْنَاكَهَا لِكَيْ لَا يَكُونَ عَلَيْكَ. Allah did the nikah of her. So that Aisha was the daughter of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq, and Zainab was Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's first cousin. You know, nowadays, a lot of people think that you should not marry your cousin. This is Hindu belief. What it is? Hindu belief. Hindus do this. This is their belief, that you cannot marry your cousin. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam married his first cousin. Zainab bint Jahsh, her mother, was the paternal aunt of Rasulullah. So there was rivalry between them, between Zainab and Aisha, and there was 2 groups. So one day, Nabi Sallallahu went to Zainab's house, another wife's house, and Nabi Sallallahu used to love to eat honey, pure honey. وَوَحَا رَبُّكَ إِلَى النَّحْلِ أَنْ تَتَّخِذَ مِنَ الْجِبَالِ بُيُوتًا وَمِنَ الشَّجَرِ وَمِمَّا يَعْرِشُونَ. Allah has mentioned the beauty of honey, how pure it is in the Quran. So when Nabi Sallallahu used to drink it with water, some kind of syrup with it, so they plant. You know, women plant. Even Nabi doesn't know how they plant. So they plant that when he comes to see you, tell him that you have maghafir in your breath. Your breath smells. When you go to our wives, those of us, alhamdulillah, I don't smoke, or many of you don't smoke, but those of you who do smoke, make sure you brush your teeth. Make sure you use something which has fragrance in it. Basically, smoking is not right. But we should go to our wives while eating pan parat. तंबाकू पान खराब हो सके वो ये बहुत खाते हो गुटखा. You should go to wash your mouth out. This thing is cancerous. Huh? It says now on the label. I don't think it's legally allowed in this country anymore. I don't know. But some people always put it in their mouth. It's no fire at all. But so Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to do miswak. So much so that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to do miswak at the time of his death also. Mullah Ali Qari Rahmatullah has written that doing miswak has 60 benefits. 60 he has written in Mirqat. One of the least benefits he has written is at the time of death, the person who is regular with miswak will say La ilaha illallah Muhammad. मेरे पास भी मिसवाक नहीं है. किसके पास मिसवाक है जेब में? Anybody here who has मिसवाक? बस ये हमारे मौलाना के पास मिसवाक है. अल्लाह आपको हिदायत करे. नबी की सुन्नत पे अमल करते हैं. ताकि हम सब ऐसे ही हैं. मिसवाक is a must. Every Muslim should have a miswak. Barahal, the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to do miswak. So, miswak as a sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, if we bring it to our lives. Nikah is a sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Nikah is a sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It is also necessary. Before I go into nikah, the last part I mentioned was that they think that it is evil to marry their cousins. This is a belief of the Hindus. For Hindus, their belief is so much so that if one person is married in one village, the same person from his village will not marry in that village. ये सिखों में भी है. और ये मुसलमानों में भी हो गया. We don't want to marry our cousins. Okay, you don't want to marry, that's okay. So they come up with this that if you marry your cousin, you will have children who are disabled. You are God. You are the one who creates. If you keep marrying only in your own blood, then there is a hadith for this. But it's the same of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu. لا تنكحوا القرابة فإن الولد يولد ضاريا. في موليه في الميكا. لا تنكحوا القرابة فإن الولد يولد ضاريا. But don't keep marrying in the same blood group. You will have children that are weak. They think this is a weak hadith. ये hadith वैसे भी नहीं. इसलिए कि ये हदीस का मौलियों के लिए बात करूँ. ये हदीस के अंदर है कि जो चीज़ नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम से साबित हो उसके मुखालिफ हदीस आए तो उस हदीस को पूरी नहीं की गई. So, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam married his first cousin. And when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam married, Mawli Bela कहाँ गया? Is she here? मैं तो इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ भाई. तो nikah is the sunnah of the Prophet. Every prophet of Allah except for two. Yahya alayhi salam and Isa alayhi salam will get married. Isa alayhi salam will marry when he comes back. Yahya alayhi salam, Sayyidan wa Hasuran wa Nabiyyin, he was the only prophet of Allah who Allah calls him Sayyidan wa Hasuran. He didn't need a woman. This is very rare. is very rare. Sunnah of the prophets of Allah is to marry. And this is how the world goes. You see, it's very easy to say. इसलिए निकाह तो बहुत पड़ा है आजकल मैंने निकाह for people लेकिन आज मेरी बेटी का निकाह है वो बड़ी मुश्किल है वो बड़ी मुश्किल है बेटी को पसंद करना
अल्लाह ब्लेस करे
लेकिन ये अल्लाह की सुन्नत है अल्लाह का हुक्म है नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की सुन्नत है हमारा सर इसके सामने सर खम है क्योंकि ये अल्लाह का हुक्म है So there are some certain conditions to give your daughter to somebody. You look at the person, see that they are first and foremost Muslim and all. Leave the zahir to Allah. Leave the batin to Allah. Look at the zahir. That is the person, if he prays 5 times a day, mashallah, then don't doubt it. If he is, it's not necessary that he has to be highly educated or highly rich. No. He should be a good Muslim. And the person who is marrying, he should also see, or his parents should also see that the person, maybe the daughter his son is married, is that daughter of deen or not. Taribat yadak. It comes in hadith. Taribat yadak. تنكح المرأة لأربع لمالها ولجمالها ولحسبها ولدينها فاذكر بذات الدين تثبت يدك. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, for 4 reasons the woman is married. It goes the other way around this. تنكح المرأة لأربع لمالها. One is that people marry a woman because she's from a wealthy background, from a wealthy family. She's wealthy. وَلِجَمَالِهَا. The second thing they see in a woman is her zahiri beauty, what she looks like. And the third thing people look at is hasabiha. How is her family? How is her background? And then Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said the last word is deen. That look at her deen. فَاذْفُرْ بِذَاتِ الدِّينِ. If she has deen in her, then you are successful. Who knows Hani? You know Hani? How she is related to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Hani? Where Hani? Ayman. Ayman. Hani is Hazrat Ali's sister. Got the name already. Ayman. Ayman is the lady that she brought Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was a child, he went to Medina. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam knew how to swim. We live in Florida, we should all learn how to swim. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam knew how to swim. Because in Makkah there is no river. There is not even a pool. In the time of Rasulullah there was nothing. So where did he learn to swim? Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam learned to swim in Medina. Because in Medina there is wells. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam learned to swim when he was a child, when he went to Medina. And on the way back, his mother died. When his mother died, there was nobody in Rasulullah except for Ayman. There is only one person who could tell Rasulullah off. Not tell Rasulullah. She could actually say to Rasulullah, you make a video. You can't say. Yeah?
Have a second.
cousin.
You understand? वो हमें सही ना छोड़ो, वो तुम्हारे बेटी की जरूरत है, मुझे वो हो गया. हाँ. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam knew how to sleep. And when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam went back, Ayman took him back. Once Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was sitting in the majlis, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "Who would like to marry a woman of Jannah? Who would like to marry a woman of Jannah?" So they, obviously Sahaba were excited. Who is the woman of Jannah? They asked. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Ayman, who would like to marry? Ayman wasn't beautiful. Ayman wasn't beautiful. She didn't have Zahiri beauty. She was black in color. I told Namaz dear se hogi. She was black in color. So, she was black in color. You know, we all heard of Laila Majnun. Laila Majnun. Actually, Majnun was a very big waliullah. His name is Qais. He was a Tabi'i. What was he? A Tabi'i. And he saw Sahaba. Ghaliban he saw Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala. And Hazrat Umar also found out about him. In Laila Majnun Qissa, Majnun was very handsome. And Laila means, what does Laylatun mean? Raat. वो रात की तरह काली थी. She was dark, but his eyes were only for her. इस पे मैं एक किस्सा सुना. रात पूरी है. किस्सा सुना. There was an alim in Darul Devar. There was an alim in Darul Devar. He fell in love with a woman. मौलवी कोई मोहब्बत होती है और हम तो बहुत ज्यादा मोहब्बत करते हैं और कितनी मोहब्बत नहीं करते.
आवाज जा रहा है.
हाँ वो जा रही है. So he fell in love with her. So that time they didn't have cell phones. So they used to write. चिट्ठी जाती थी. So वो चिट्ठी जाती थी आती थी. The letter of love letters used to go and come. Used to go and come. One day the woman put a condition. One day the woman put a condition. The Maulana asked her, "I want to marry you." She said, "On one condition I will marry you. You will shave off your beard. Then I will marry you. You will shave off your beard. Then I will marry you." So Maulana, all night, he is in a dilemma. दाढ़ी निकालो या रखो, दाढ़ी निकालो या रखो, दाढ़ी निकालो या रखो. In the morning he sent her a small note. He said in that note, पूरी रात कश्मकश में गुजरी. पूरी रात कश्मकश में गुजरी. कभी तेरी मोहब्बत जोर मारती थी, कभी अल्लाह और अल्लाह के रसूल की मोहब्बत जोर मारती थी. तेरी मोहब्बत पर अल्लाह की और अल्लाह के रसूल की मोहब्बत गालिब आ गई. जा तुझे छोड़ दिया, अल्लाह और अल्लाह के रसूल को नहीं छोड़ा. Meaning sometimes your love would come, but the love of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam overtook your love. हमारा पता है कौन थे? वो की सालिकी में बात कर रहा हूँ. हमारे उस्ताद हज़रत मौलाना याकूब साहब सहारनपुरी रहमतुल्लाह अलैह हमारे उस्ताद. और उनके बेटे ने मुझे कहा था कि तिरमिज़ी में आपको एक किस्सा सुनाया. वाकई सुनाया था. He was Maulana Yaqub Sahib Rahmatullah Alayhi was the son of the milk king of Asia. What was he? He was the son of the milk king of Asia. In Saharanpur area, He had 500 acres of land, where land is sold by inches, not square foot. And Ajib, his son used to tell me, we told him that Abbas said एक साइन कर दो, we can get everything back. He said हमने अल्लाह के लिए सब कुछ छोड़ दिया, हमें कुछ नहीं चाहिए. Our Akabirin were like that. Barhal, Maulana then got married to his Ustad's daughter, and from her he had 7 sons and 1 daughter. I know all his sons. And mashallah, all of his sons are Hafiz al-Quran and ulama. All of them. So when somebody gives this, he looks at the deen of the woman and the deen of the man. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, تُذْكَهُ الْمَرْأَةُ بِأَرْبَعِينَ لِمَالِهَا وَلِجَمَالِهَا وَلِحَسَبِهَا وَلِدِينِهَا فَاظْفُرْ بِذَاتِ الدِّينِ تَرِبَتْ يَدَاكَ. Go for the deen, you will be successful. I hope, as a father, I hope that inshallah my daughter is successful and Hamza is successful. That's my because we see marriages where people spend thousands and thousands of dollars, $80,000, $90,000, and within 3 months they break. Within 3 months they break. Why? Because everything is done against the hukam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can that happen? And those marriages where there is very little spent, but it is according to the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I cannot say that we will do everything according to the sunnah. You cannot claim that. There is something इधर उधर तो कुछ होता है. वो मौलवी की नहीं चलती भाई, हमारी क्या चलेगी? औरतों के सामने किसी की नहीं चलती. हम भी मजबूर हैं और माजूर हैं. लेकिन we hope that every marriage of every Muslim is successful if it is done according to the sunnah of the Sunnah. Then it is successful. Who's better? Whose daughter is better? Is my daughter better or the daughter of Rasulullah? If I have 10,000 daughters, they cannot be equivalent to Fatima bint Rasulullah. None of our daughters can be equivalent to the daughter of Rasulullah. So when she gets married, the Shaykh has written in Fazail Rahman, and when she gets married, what did Rasulullah give her? Nothing. If you think of it, just one bedding, 1 pillow. I think it was one mush. Mush means they put water in. And Ayman was a lady who went and delivered her to Sayyidina Ali. The sunnah is to go and give your daughter to her husband. When nikah is done, the sunnah of Rasulullah is to go and give your daughter on her. Our tariqah is that we, because we come from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, we have a lot of Hindwana tariqah. We need to get rid of that and bring the sunnah of Rasulullah. That will be barakah. And if we don't, then there will be no barakah in our lives. So my dear brothers and sisters, the message is for me first and foremost. Because it is my daughter that I am giving. The message is for me that Aisaruha Ma'unat al-Nabi Sallallahu said that the least amount that you spend, that the better the barakah is in the nikah, in the wedding. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make my daughter's nikah, Hamza, a success.
Ameen.
And may Allah make it everybody who has daughters, may Allah make everybody's daughters nikahs success.
Ameen.
We should never think negative for our children. Always think positive. Sometimes they make mistakes. So forgive them and let it go. And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the best for them. The dua is in the Quran. رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. Our forefathers, wherever we are from, they used to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They didn't have much knowledge maybe of deen, but they used to make dua. One of their duas I still remember, because 2 days ago, I lost an aunt yesterday. Her janaza was today. एक तरफ खुशी भी है, एक तरफ गमी भी है. So I remember on the phone I was talking to her 3 days, and I was telling her, Gujarati, I was talking to her, and I was saying that, Koima, दुआ कर जो मैं शुक्रिया. ये मेरी फूफी, मेरी बेटी की दुआ कर. So she was very happy, and she gave me a lot of dua. And then she said at the end, "Beta, मेरे लिए भी दुआ करना, खात्मा बिखैर." We have stopped saying this. We don't ask Allah for khatma bil khair, and we don't ask people to make dua for khatma bil khair. So when my Kupi died yesterday, she died exactly as the azan of Maghrib was going. Inshallah, she had khatma bil khair. She had khatma bil khair. And we should also ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, oh Allah, when my time comes, give me khatma bil khair. Al-i'tibar bil khawateen becomes important. That Allah does not look at all this. Allah looks at your last moment. Do you go with Iman or not? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when our time comes, take us all with Iman.
Ameen.
नमाज पढ़ने ईशा पढ़ ईशा
ईशा पढ़ी खुशी
वो करने में निशा के बाद
वो आ गया
मसला नहीं है, बयान और हो पूरी रात है.
is the wali here the wakil
No, it's just pray first then आराम से आराम से करता चल आराम से
we all this will get चलो वहाँ एक नात पढ़ दो नात के ऊपर खत्म कर नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम शान
Please everyone recite thanks salutation of our Prophet. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. मेरे आका मेरे मौला मेरे आका मेरे मौला मेरे आका मेरे मौला मेरे आका मेरे मौला व अहसन मिनक लम तरक़त ऐन व अजमल मिनक लम तलिद النساء خلقت مبرأ من كل عيب كأنك قد خلقت كما تشاء जहाँ में उनसा चेहरा है न है खंदा जमी कोई अभी तक जन सकी ना हो, औरतें उनसको हंसी कोई नहीं रखी है कुदरत ने। मेरे आका कमी तुझ में जो चाहा आपने मौला, वो रखा है सभी तुझ में। मेरे आका मेरे मौला, मेरे आका मेरे मौला, मेरे आका मेरे मौला, मेरे आका मेरे मौला। मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह, मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह, मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह, मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह। हजौत मुहम्मदन अफजैत अन्हु, वइंदल्लाहि फी ज़ाकल जज़ाउ। अतहजुहु वलस्त लहु बिकुफ़इन, फशर्रुकुमा लिखैरिकुमल फ़िदाउ। हजौत मुबारकन बर्रन हनीफा, अमीनुल्लाहि शीमतुहुल वफ़ाउ। फमन यहजु रसूलल्लाहि मिनकुम, वयमदहुहु वयंसुरुहु सवाउ। फ़इन्न अबी व वालिदती व इर्दी लिइर्दि मुहम्मदिन मिनकुम वक़ाउ। लिसानी सारिमुन ला ऐब फीही, व बहरी ला तुकद्दिरुहुल दलाउ। मुहम्मद के तक़द्दुस पर ज़बाने जो निकालेंगे, खुदा के हुक्म से ऐसी ज़बाने खींच डालेंगे। मुहम्मद के तक़द्दुस पर ज़बाने जो निकालेंगे, खुदा के हुक्म से ऐसी ज़बानें खींच डालेंगे। कहाँ रिफ़अत मुहम्मद की, कहाँ तेरी हकीकत है। शरारत ही शरारत बस तेरी बेचैन फितरत है। मुज़म्मत कर रहा है तू शराफत के मसीहा की, अमानत के दयानत के सदाकत के मसीहा की। अगर गुस्ताखी नामूस अहमद कर चुके हो तुम, तो अपनी जिंदगी से क़ब्र ही बस मर चुके हो तुम। मेरे माँ बाप हो जाए निसा उनकी मोहब्बत पर, ज़ुबान रखता हूँ ऐसी जिसको सब तलवार कहते हैं। मेरे आका मेरे मौला, मेरे आका मेरे मौला, मेरे आका मेरे मौला, मेरे आका मेरे मौला। मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह, मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह, मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह, मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह।
अल्लाहु अकबर।
ये उलमा के लिए इंशाल्लाह नेक्स्ट सैटरडे को इंग्लैंड के अंदर हमारे उस्ताद मोहतरम हज़रत मौलाना अबुल क़ासिम, मौलाना ने शायद पढ़ा था, आपने पढ़ा? मौलाना अबुल क़ासिम बिन सुलेमान दमन, हमारे उस्ताद मोहतरम जब से मरकज़ शुरू हुआ पीरगुल उस वक्त से पढ़ाते हैं, तकरीबन 45 साल हो गए और हदीस पढ़ाते हैं। शेख हदीस बोलते हैं। उन्होंने मुस्लिम शरीफ हज़रत मौलाना मोहम्मद आदम तालेपुरी, ये पालनपुर के लिखे गए, उनसे पढ़ी। उन्होंने हज़रत मौलाना आदम तालेपुरी ने मुस्लिम शरीफ पढ़ी। हज़रत बाबा अब्दुर्रहमान अमरोही से, बाबा अब्दुर्रहमान अमरोही की तकरीबन उम्र हुई थी 100 साल। हज़रत बाबा अब्दुर्रहमान अमरोही रहमतुल्लाह अलैह, इन्होंने हदीस शरीफ पढ़ी हज़रत मौलाना कासिम नानोतवी से और हज़रत गंगोली रहमतुल्लाह अलैह से। और बाबा की एक सनद है कि बाबा ने हदीस पढ़ी, इजाज़त थी उनको मौलाना फजल रहमान गंज मुरादाबादी से, और मौलाना फजल रहमान गंज मुरादाबादी ने हदीस पढ़ी शाह मोहम्मद इसहाक साहब रहमतुल्लाह अलैह से। और एक रिवायत में है कि मौलाना फजल रहमान गंज मुरादाबादी ने हदीस शरीफ पढ़ी हज़रत शाह अब्दुल अजीज साहब रहमतुल्लाह अलैह से। उनकी दूसरी इस्नाद है। तो इंशाअल्लाह नेक्स्ट वीक हमारे टाइम पे तकरीबन यहाँ के टाइम पे तकरीबन 12 बजे दिन को हज़रत मौलाना का वो होगा। तकरीबन 150 उलमा माइंड में जमा हो रहे हैं, हदीस हासिल कर। तो आपने मुझे याद दिला दिया जब आपने पढ़ा हज़रत मोहम्मद मुस्लिम शरीफ में। तो मैंने अपने साथी को कल कहा था कि भाई इसको हम हदीस लिख रहे हैं, तकरीबन 100 हदीस पढ़ने वाले। मैंने कहा कि आखिर में नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की तारीफ के अंदर जो हज़रत हसन है, वो हज़रत हसन के मनाक़िब है। मैंने उससे कहा था कि वो हदीस को देख देना, तो थोड़ा सा मैं काम कर रहा हूँ। ये नेक्स्ट वीक मैं इसीलिए जा रहा हूँ ताकि हदीस का, और इंशाअल्लाह उसके बाद एक हफ्ते के बाद मैं उम्रे में जा रहा हूँ। मैंने अल्लाह ताला से, मैं इसलिए नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि मैं कोई बड़ा आदमी हूँ, इसलिए कह रहा हूँ कि मैंने अल्लाह ताला से ये उम्मीद की थी कि अल्लाह अगर तूने मुझे कैंसर से शिफा दे दी तो सबसे पहले मैं मरा करूँगा। ये मेरी नीयत थी। अल्लाह ताला ने मेरी नीयत अल्लाह कबूल फरमाए और मेरे लिए आसान फरमाए। अज़ान दे दो, अज़ान दे दो, अज़ान दे दो, अरे बात दीजिए मैं अज़ान दे दो, वज़ू कर कोई है भाई अज़ान दे दो, अज़ान
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله